So there are three different methods we already mentioned. The first one is a method of joints. Okay, so the name itself is self-explanatory. What is that? We will try to write the forces that are acting at the different joints, and then we will use the equilibrium conditions. Okay, so here one important point you need to remember. What is that? If stress is in the equilibrium, then any segment or a joint of the stress is also in the equilibrium. For example, if I take the point A, otherwise the joint A, then all the forces at joint A should be in the equilibrium. In the same way, if I take the joint B, then all the forces that are acting at the joint B are in the equilibrium. Otherwise, after some time, I will cut the this stress. So when I cut whatever section I will take, that particular section, I will cut this and then make it two sections. Okay. Then now, if I take the section which is already cut from the original one, that is also should satisfy the equilibrium conditions. Okay, you keep that in the mind. So here what we need to find out, the forces BC, GC, oh, this link we forgot. Link GC, okay, and then GF. We need to find out these forces. Okay. So here how will you find out this? This is 100 Newton is given, and let's assume this is the A and this is also A. This is the A and this is also A, and this is the A, and of course this is also A. See, whenever you have some stress problem like this, then what we need to do, if it is using this method of sections, then you no need to find out even the what we call that reactionary forces. Even here in this case also we no need to find the reactionary forces. Why? Because we are trying to go from the A and then to the B and then to the G. So we are going like that. Instead of that, if the examiner is asking to find out the forces that are produced in the CD, then now in that case we need to consider all the forces that are acting at the D. So always it is better to first practice how to find out the reactionary forces and its directions. Okay, you need to practice now itself. Don't think that in the examination the finding the reactionary forces may not be required. Don't think like that. Okay, so how will you find out the reactionary forces? Reactionary forces will be found out by considering only the external forces. See, when I cut this rod, then what happened? In that case, I need to represent the forces in this rod. When I am not cutting this rod, then what happened? There is no force represented here. Understood? In the same way, so what I am trying to say is, unless otherwise you cut these rods, the internal forces we never take. Okay, and then whenever you are considering this entire system, to find out the reactionary forces we need to consider the entire system. Okay, so when you consider the entire system, okay, how the reactionary forces are acting here. So we have already learned different types of reactionary forces, like for example, if it is a fixed one, what is the reactionary force and what is the moment. For example, if it is a revolute joint, this is a revolute joint. So when it is a revolute joint, then it is restricting the Rx and as well as the Ry. That means the motion in the x direction and the y direction. That means the forces in the x and y direction, it is a restricting. But there is no restriction of its moment or the torque. So here, whenever you have a revolute joint, you have the Rx and Ry, but whereas the M about the O, let's assume this is the point O, M about O is 0. Understood? And whenever you have the fixed one, then in that case, we have a Rx, Ry, and as well as the moment also not equal to 0. You remember? You forgot. Recollect from the previous chapter. In the same way, for example, you have a some roller support like this, roller support. So what is the meaning of the roller support? When I apply some force in this direction, since it is a roller not fixed, then it will freely move in that direction. Okay, that means there is no restriction. Whenever there is no restriction, no reactionary force. Whenever there is a restriction, then only a reactionary force. Okay, but whereas if I apply the force in the vertically downward direction, then what is happening here? The earth is not allowing this to go inside. So definitely there will be a reactionary force, in the upward direction here. Okay, and since this rod is connected to this roller support by using the revolute joint, then the moment at this point also 0 here. So here what I am trying to say is, especially in this chapter plane stress, okay, we get only two types of support. We will come across only two types of supports. What are those support? One is the revolute support, another one is the roller support. In case of the roller support, what is happening? There is only one reactionary force and the moment is 0 there. And in case of the revolute joint, there are two reactionary forces and of course again the moment is 0. Okay, so we need to remember this, and after remembering, then how will you find out the reactionary forces here? Okay, so here the reactionary forces, for example, see at the point D, this is the revolute joint. So whenever you have the revolute joint, you will get the reactionary forces RDY, and this is the RDX, and here at the point E you will get only the REX. Why? Because it is allowing the movement along the y-axis here. Okay, these are the reactionary forces. And what is the vertically upward force that is given here? The vertically upward force is how much? See, I will apply the sigma Fy equal to 0 for the entire system. So what are the vertical forces? RDY equal to what is happening? 100 Newton. This is only 100 Newton. That means that is the FA here. Okay, so the vertical reactionary force at D is compensating the applied force here. Then how these horizontal forces are produced here? That is because of the moment effect produced by this applied force at the point A. So that here the forces will be produced such that the reverse moment will be produced to compensate this. So this direction will change. We will see. Even if you don't know initially the direction of reactionary forces, after that we can change when it is a negative value. So how to find out? So the moment at a point D equal to 0. Otherwise, even before that, I will write a sigma Fx equal to 0. That means there are only two forces. So RDX plus REX equal to 0. That means here RDX equal to minus REX. That is what happening here. And again, if I apply the moment at a point D equal to 0, then what are the forces that are there in the system which are not passing through the point D? There are two forces. What is that? One force is at the A, other force is at the point E. Okay, so if I extend this force like this, the force at A, if I extend this force at A, the distance from this vector to the point D is how much? A plus A plus A, 3A. Okay, what is the formula? Moment formula? R cross F, otherwise D into F. What is the D? D is the perpendicular distance from the point about which we are calculating the moment to the force vector. Okay, so here the force vector is 100, which is at a distance of 3a. Okay, this is the anti-clockwise moment it is producing about the point D, and what's about this Ex, it is producing the clockwise moment about the point D, which is at a distance of A here. So here it will become the minus Rex into A equal to 0. So here Rex is how much? 300. Okay, so that R dx is how much? Minus 300 Newton. Okay, so it is minus 300 Newton, so that its direction is changed, like this. Its direction is changed like this. Understood? So this is the way we need to find out the reactionary forces. Anyway, we have seen this. I'm going slow so that next time onwards I don't spend that much time on this, finding the reactionary forces. So you observe now itself. So Rex, Rdy, how much we got? 100 Newton. Rdx, how much we got? 300 Newton. And Rex, how much we got? 300 Newton. First of all, you no need to find out all these values. Why? Because the forces that we need to find out in this problem is BC, GC and GF. But for the sake of understanding, we are dealing this also. Okay. And now our method name is method of joints. What is the meaning of that? That means we need to take the forces that are acting on the joint. Okay. So here, how will you know how the force directions on the joint A? First one is by observation. Even if your observation is wrong, okay, we will go according to the observation, and later we will correct the direction based on the sign that you will get. So if I take the joint A here, okay, if I take the joint A, okay, see here what is happening, A is here, force is acting like this. Let's assume it is trying to compress this. Okay, so if I compress, if I take the rod at any position like this, so what is happening here? The force is trying to compress the rod like this. When the force direction on the rod is like this, then what is the force direction on the joint? This is like this. Okay, that is what we discussed in the previous session, opposite direction. And here the force in the rod AB is tension. So let's assume it is trying to stretch this like this. So the direction is like this, right? The force on the junction A is like this. Okay, so here if I go for the junction A, so this is the junction A. On the junction A, this is the 100 Newton, and this is the horizontal. What is the force? A to J, F A G, sorry. And then how is the force? This is the acting like this. Okay, so what is the angle here? This is a right angle triangle. This is the A, this is the A, and this is 90 degrees, so that it will become 45 degrees here, and this is also 45 degrees here. Okay, so here it is a 45 degrees, and since the arrow mark is going like this, so it is starting from here, and let's assume it is going like this. So this is the F A G, and what is this force? This is the F A B. Okay, and we need to find out F A B and F A G both. So how will you find out? You can use either a sine rule or whichever rule you want. So here F A B divided by, otherwise if I convert this into the components, okay, so this will become F A B sine 45 degrees and then this will become FAB cos 45 degrees. Okay, so as soon as you resolve the component, you remove the force, the resultant force, otherwise you may be confused, sometimes. Okay, unnecessary mistakes. So here sigma x equal to 0, sigma y equal to 0. Why? What is the statement here? If a stress is in equilibrium, then automatically any segment or any junction or the joint of the stress is also in the equilibrium. Okay, so here sigma fx equal to 0. So fx equal to 0 means this is unknown value, this is also unknown value. So I will write a sigma fy equal to 0. Then FB sine 45 degrees, FAB sine 45 degrees equal to how much? 100 Newton. So FAB is how much? FAB equal to sine 45 is 1 by root 2. So when it go to the other side, then it will become root 200. Okay, Newton. FAB is root 200 Newton here. And sigma fx. So FA is equal to FB into cos 45. So cos 45 also 1 by root 2, 1 by root 2, 1 by root 2 will get cancelled here. Then FAZ value is how much? FAZ value equal to 100 Newton here. Okay. So this is the junction or the joint A here. Okay. And after that, we will go to the, where shall we go? Shall we go to the B or G? Why? Because we need to find out the BC and as well as the GC and GF. For example, if I go to the G instead of going to the B, how many unknown forces are there? Only AG is known and the remaining 3 unknown forces are there. But whereas if I go to the B, here AB is known and BG and BC are unknown. That means only 2 unknowns here. So it's better to go for the B instead of going to the G here. Okay. So here if I go to the B here, okay, so how the forces on the, see whatever I assumed that came correct only here. That is why the sign convention is not came everything is a proper way. So here again you mark the forces. So this force is acting like this, FAB. And then what's about this? Since it is trying to stretch this, then this is also trying to stretching this. Whenever it is stretching, then it will become the tensile force. So whenever it is a tensile force, so it is like this on the rod and on the junction, it is like this. Okay. And here also it is like this. Okay. And then what's about this force? For example, here height is A, right? You remember this. Okay, it is trying to stretch this. So while stretching this, I feel like this is being compressed. Okay, so I assume that there is a compressive force in this. Okay, in this rod, compressive force. Whenever it is a compressive force, then the direction of the force on this rod is like this. Then the force on the junction is in the opposite direction of this. Okay, so opposite direction of that arrow mark. So if I take the junction B here, then I represented the forces like that. So here this is the horizontal force. What is the force? This is the FBC, and this is the vertical force. What is that force vertically? FBG. And what is the another force? This is the another force. What is this force? FAB, sorry, FAB. What is the angle it is making here? It is making 45 degrees here. Okay, so if I resolve this into the component, then it is a FAB cos 45 degrees and here FAB sin 45 degrees here. Okay, so here this is the finally this is what we got, and these two are unknowns. Okay, So FAB is known value. What is FAB? FAB is a root 2, right? Root 2 into 100. So root 2 into 100 into sine 45. How much? FAB is this much, right? So into sine 45 is 1 by root 2. So here, how much it will become? Root 2 and 1 by root 2 will be cancelled. So it will become how much? 100 Newton here. And this is also will become 100 Newton. This is also 100 Newton. When both are 100 Newton, then what is the value of the FBG? FBG will become 100 Newton, and in the same way FBC will become 100 Newton. So finally one component we found. What is that? FBC. FBC value is how much? We found FBC value equal to, this equal to 100 Newton here, and two more are pending. What is that? FGC and FGF. So FGC and FGF we need to find out from from where we need to find out. Okay, I will write here whatever we found. I will write here FBC equal to 100 Newton and FBG equal to 100 Newton. Okay, then we need to take the joint G to find out those two forces. Okay, see how much time it is taking. It is a very big procedure if you go by the method of joint. That is why in the examination we will go with the method of sections. Okay, with the method of sections, you can calculate quickly. Fatafat you can calculate. And here again we need to identify the forces that are acting at the point G here. Already two forces are identified, and the A to E portion is feeling like I'm feeling like it is being compressed. So that means GF also being compressed. So if GF is being compressed, then what is the direction on this rod? The direction is like this, so that on the junction it is like this. And what's about this GC? GC, either it could be compressed or maybe it is a tension. I don't know. I'm unable to observe properly. Whenever I am unable to observe properly, then I will take the tension. Okay. So whenever it is a tension in the rod, okay, I will take the tension in the rod like this. When there is a tension in the rod, then the direction is like this, on this junction. Okay. So here if I mark the G, junction G, okay, so here what is happening? See, there is one force here, this is like this. What is that force? AG. AG is acting like this, FAG, and then GF is going like this, FGF, okay, and then BG is coming down like this, FBG, and then now what is the another force? This is going like this. What is this force? FGC. Okay. Do you know that BG? Yes, BG is known. AG is known, and GF, where is the GF? GF we don't know, and GC we need to find out. And this is a 45 degrees. Whenever it is a 45 degrees, then immediately I will resolve this into the FGC. This is a 45 degrees, so it is a sine 45 degrees, and here I will add one more FGC cos 45 degrees. Cos 45 degrees, and as soon as you resolve into component, always you learn to erase that, otherwise you will be confused. Sometimes by mistake you may consider that a force also. So this is the final forces, and here BG value is known. What is the BG value? BG value is this much. Okay, so FGC into sine 45 is how much? BG. BG is how much? 100. So that FGC will become 100 divided by sine 45. Sine 45 is 1 by root 2. So it will go to the numerator. So FGC will become FGC will become how much? Root 2 into 100. Okay, root 2 into 100. Or generally, it is looking awkward if I write like this. 100 root 2 I will write. Okay, 100 root 2. This is how we need to write so that it looks good. FGC is 100 root 2, and here if I equate these two, I need to find out FGF, right? FGF. So sigma f x equal to 0, so FGF equal to FAG, here this is the AG, right, plus FGC cos 45 degrees. Okay, so we need to find out FGF. What is the FAG? FAG is 100 plus FGC. Where is the FGC? FGC is 100 root 2. So 100 root 2 into 1 by root 2. So here it will become 200 Newton. So FGF will become how much? 200 Newton here. Okay, so finally we found out all the values. What is that? What is the GC value? The GC value is 100 root 2 and GF value is 200 Newton. Okay, so this is how we need to find out by using the joint method. Okay, for example, here if you want to find out, see, whatever I have chosen the directions, everything came good. Otherwise, sometimes instead of a positive value, you may get the negative value. So what is the meaning of that? That means you need to change the direction of the chosen, force. Okay. For example, if you want to find out the CD, okay, then we will consider the forces at a forces at a joint C. For example, if you want to find out the forces in the ED, then we need to consider either here or here. Okay, I will advise you to consider here. Why? Because there is only one normal reaction, but whereas at the point D there are two normal reactions. So finally you understood, right? So everywhere we need to take the force direction on the joints, and then we need to apply the equilibrium equation. And one more thing you need to remember here is, here in this case, what is happening, whichever joint I am taking, that is like a coplanar and a collinear. Okay, at that junction, whatever is joining, those forces only I am considering. Okay, and I am not using the sigma m equal to 0 except for calculating these reactionary forces for the entire system, when I consider the entire system. But here the problem is, this is simple procedure. The problem is it is taking more time. We need to go in a cyclic manner from here to here and then here to here, like this we need to go. Instead of that, we will go for the what is that, we will go for what is that, method, method of sections here. Okay, next one is method of sections.